All right, let's dive into one of the most famous and, let's be honest, strangest words in the entire crypto world. HODL. It's way more than just a word. It's a strategy, a meme, and a whole mindset all rolled into one.
So you've probably seen this, right? You're scrolling through a crypto forum and you see someone just screaming HODL in all caps. And your first thought is, did they just misspell hold? Well, the short answer is yes, and also no. And trust me, the story behind it is just fantastic.
Okay, but before we get into that wild origin story, what does HODL even mean today? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's the strategy of holding onto your crypto, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, through all the crazy ups and downs. So instead of selling when prices take a nosedive, you just hold, because you believe in the long-term potential.
So where did a term like this even come from? You might think it was cooked up in some high finance strategy session or a white paper, right? Nope, not even close. It started exactly where you'd expect an internet legend to start, with a very emotional, very late-night forum post.
So, picture this. The year's 2013. It's December, and the Bitcoin market is in an absolute freefall. I mean, people are freaking out. And right in the middle of all that chaos, some user on the Bitcoin Talk forum just unloads. They post this incredible message, full of typos, full of raw emotion, basically declaring they are not selling no matter what.
And right there, in that post, was the magic phrase. In what I can only imagine was a moment of pure, defiant conviction, and maybe fueled by a little bit of whiskey, he typed out, "I am hodling." Not holding, HODLING. And that one little mistake, it just perfectly captured how everyone was feeling. It became this instant rallying cry for the entire community.
And of course, the internet did what the internet does best. The community grabbed that typo and just ran with it. They humorously reverse-engineered it into this amazing acronym, Hold On for Dear Life. And honestly, could there be a more perfect description for that feeling? It's just this gritty determination to ride out the storm.
And this is where things get really interesting. HODL didn't just stay a funny meme, it evolved. It grew from this inside joke on forums into a totally legitimate investment philosophy that today, millions of people follow.
And that evolution was huge. It started as a meme, right? It was funny, it was reactive, a little bit panicky, hold on for dear life. But it matured into a genuine mindset, something strategic, patient, and really built on a deep, long-term conviction in where this technology is headed.
So at its core, the whole HODL mindset is really about one thing: tuning out the noise. It's about ignoring the crazy day-to-day price swings, scrolling past the panicked headlines, and instead just focusing on the fundamental long-term value you believe an asset actually has.
Okay, so we've got the history, we get the philosophy. But how do you, actually do it? What does the HODL strategy look like in the real world?
Well, the playbook is, believe it or not, incredibly simple. Step 1, you acquire the asset. Step 2, you do nothing. You just hold on, especially through those really scary dips when your gut is screaming at you to sell. And then step 3, you just keep your eyes on the horizon, focused on that long-term potential. A great way to understand what hodling is to look at what it isn't. It's the total opposite of active trading. Traders are in and out, buying and selling, constantly reacting to the news. Hodlers, they're playing a completely different game. They work on the idea that trying to perfectly time the market is basically impossible. So instead of stressing out over charts all day, the idea is to build wealth slowly and steadily over time. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds really simple. And you're right, the strategy is simple. But, and this is a big but, actually doing it, that's not easy at all. In fact, it's incredibly difficult. It really takes a certain kind of temperament.
So what does it take to be a hodler? Well, for one, you need some serious emotional discipline. The kind that lets you watch your portfolio drop by 50% and not hit the panic sell button. You need a high tolerance for risk, you need almost superhuman patience, and you need a deep conviction to hold on even when it feels like the entire world is cashing out.
And really, that's the biggest test, isn't it? We all know the crypto market is famously extremely volatile. Holding on through those massive crashes, when every single person around you is selling, that takes a level of nerve that, frankly, a lot of investors just don't have. It is a true trial by fire.
Now, it's also important to remember that HODL, as powerful as it is, doesn't exist in a vacuum. We've got to put it in the context of the wider crypto world.
I mean, the crypto ecosystem is huge now, and there are tons of different ways to get involved.
There's active trading, like we talked about, but there's also things like staking, where you can lock up your coins to help the network and earn rewards, or lending, where you can actually earn interest on your crypto. So HODLing isn't the only game in town. But you know what? Even with all these other complex strategies popping up, HODL is still here. It endures. And why is that? I think it's because of its beautiful simplicity. For anyone who really truly believes in the long-term vision of cryptocurrency, it's still one of the most straightforward and powerful strategies out there.
And that kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? HODL started as a typo in a Bitcoin forum, but maybe its real lesson is much bigger than that. In a world that feels more volatile every day, maybe the ultimate strategy for investing and for a lot of other things is just patience.